What if the opportunity you're about to say yes to is actually putting you out of your alignment? And perhaps you should say no. And what if the real work is not how to do more or how to be more visible, but learning when to say no? There is often this idea, especially in the creative, entrepreneurial spaces, that you have to be visible, that you have to be everywhere, that you have to stay relevant, that you have to say yes to everything. And I understand, especially in a city like Aarhus, where this pressure comes from, and this sort of buzz, for people wanting to sort of run and chase their career. There is always exhibition, there is always a concert, there is always an event or something happening all the time. And it can feel very easily that if you slow down or if you take a break, you might miss your chance. But let me offer you a different perspective. If you bring your art or your work into spaces or opportunities that don't feel aligned, you will also not feel aligned, and people can feel it too. And I truly believe that the right opportunities cannot miss you, and the right people cannot miss you, even if you try to run away or avoid them. They just will not miss you because they're meant for you. And I really believe that we sort of are magnets, all of us. And I'm not saying we are only magnets for the right thing for us. We are simply attracting what we are reflecting into the world, right? So if you are misaligned, if you are not saying your truth, that's also what you're gonna attract, because that's simply how people and the world perceives you, right? Like, for example, let's say you like somebody and then you find out that they love drum and bass music, but you're more of a jazz girl, right? So you start saying, no, but I kind of enjoy it, and it's okay to be curious, right? But instead of saying your truth and being honest and being like, hey, I actually don't really enjoy it, but I don't mind that you like this kind of music. But instead of doing that, you just pretend that you like this music, and maybe for them it's a deal breaker, but you never tell them. Then you're not attracting the right person, right? Because you are not honest with yourself, and this is sort of just simply the thing you're reflecting to the world. So of course it's gonna reflect it back to you. And the same is with art. Like, I've had so many people tell me that, oh, this would be beneficial for you, just come to this event, or, oh, I would love to collaborate with you, I think it's perfect, but they totally misunderstand my concept, or they do totally different thing that I simply don't resonate. And I could have just gotten stuck in that quote-unquote opportunity and be miserable and just wait it out because I was not able to be honest, or I simply could have waited for the right opportunity to come and make sure that I'm bringing my artwork, a part of me, a little reflection of a part of me, because you do put your energy into your art. So, you do need to have sort of healthy attachment to it, or like sort of a care. Where do you put it, right? So if you don't bring it into an aligned space for you and your artwork, you're also not attracting the right audience, and therefore you're not attracting the right growth, right? It's the same like, imagine you had a plant and you had a cactus and you would get it home, but instead of putting it on the window and sometimes watering it when it needs water. You would just put it on the top shelf where it has no sun and you would water it every day. It would die. It would simply die. Right? And I think that's when we have to be honest with ourselves and stay grounded and really stand our ground in our truth if we want to achieve something. And this is something that I've heard on a podcast, I think, and it was something about success and how people succeed, and that is actually very simple. I think it was a podcast from Jenny Dinovi. I really love her podcasts, and now I'm gonna probably misquote, but she said something about it's very simple if you want to be successful, because the only thing you need is an insane amount of belief. And I think I totally understand what she meant by that, because now I believe in that. I truly believe it's true. Because if you have such an insane amount of belief that whatever you're doing is right and whatever you're doing is gonna work out, then you stay much more grounded, right? It's much easier to stand your ground in your truth and knowing what you want to do or not do, and listen to yourself and follow that inner voice. Because then if an opportunity comes, it's much easier for you to respect your boundaries and not get kind of panicked about an opportunity maybe slipping away or your breakthrough not coming, because you know that eventually it will happen. But I need to also take care of myself, and I need to make sure that I am also taking the best care of my work. And wouldn't you want your work? Don't you think your work deserves the right space and the right time? I think it's kind of like, for example, imagine you're an athlete and you just ran a marathon. You need a break. You need to recover, right? You cannot just go and run another marathon because it's an opportunity for you to win another golden medal. Even if it's an opportunity, even if you have the potential, you are exhausted right now. The best thing for you is to rest. You're not serving anybody, and you're certainly not having high chances to win that medal again if you just ran marathon 2 days ago, right? And I think it's the same with opportunities, and that's why we need to respect our boundaries. I know it's very tempting to say yes to everything, and there is so many opportunities, and it's so easy to get scared that it's not going to work out because you miss an opportunity. But ask yourself honestly right now, are you really missing an opportunity if you didn't have the full capacity to execute it properly? Because that's not really an opportunity then, is it? And another thing that I sort of, I guess, realized is I really believe that we don't have to be tired as entrepreneurs and stressed all the time. I really believe that's not right. I know it can get stressful at times. I know there are things we have to take care of. But you are the one deciding your life and your day-to-day and how you talk to people and how much time you spend sleeping and what do you eat and how many meetings you have in a day. And if somebody doesn't respect that, or if somebody resents you because you need 10 hours of sleep or 9 hours of sleep, that's their problem, you know. If somebody resents you for that, then that's on them, because if they need more sleep, they are more than welcome to do it. And I would much rather take less opportunities and be able to fully enjoy them and fully execute them to the potential that I want, than to take a lot of opportunities just because somebody else thinks that it's beneficial for me. Nobody knows better than you what is beneficial for you and your life. You spend your whole life with yourself. You know yourself better than anybody else, no matter what they think. So just listen to yourself and your needs, and don't panic, because the right opportunities truly cannot miss you, even if you try to avoid them. But if you're not aligned, and you're not living your truth, you're not voicing out your truth, you're also not going to attract it. So take good care of yourself so you can shine into the world, and so you can attract that light back into your life. And I'm looking very much forward to see you in the next episode of Artist Mindset. Okay, bye.